Now I love a good CA glue finish. In my opinion, it's probably far superior than the boiled linseed oil. I think it provides a really nice, hard, durable, and long-lasting finish. But the other day I stumbled across a video on YouTube. Some guy was refinishing surfboards with UV epoxy. I think the brand that I saw him in the video using was Solar Res. So I went down to my local surf shop and found some UV epoxy. It's supposedly one component, but if you add some, this is, I'm in Spain, so this is in Spanish, estyreno parafinado, or I guess it's paraffin styrene, or whatever. This will keep it from being sticky when it's done. You can dry it with just the sunlight or with a UV light, but it'll remain a little bit sticky on the surface. And if you add this styrene to it, then it'll be dry to the touch. And it only takes seconds, really. I used to take my bowls and apply the UV epoxy to it and take it outside into the sunlight. And then I got smart and got a UV light. So with this, you can apply your finish, and in probably 30 seconds or a couple of minutes at the most, then you've got a hard finish that you can sand and reapply the next coat if you like. Take a little bit of this and apply it. Now hopefully you can see it's got a glass smooth finish to it. As you can see, it's still tacky, or not tacky, it's still completely wet. Right? But now I'll bring over the UV light and give it a shot. Now while I'm filming this, I've got a bright light here and a bright light here, but so maybe you can't see it you can't see the UV light as strong, but it's doing its job. So now that's dry, and it's got a really nice finish on it. Oops, let me get this part here too that I had a drop. So you can see, completely dry. And that's pretty much it for the first coat. I don't like to turn the lathe on because I don't want it flinging all over the place. You don't have to put it on really thick. In fact, the thinner the coat, the better, because if you put it on too thick, it might build up in certain areas. The thinner coats are better. But for the first coat, this will be fine. After I've hardened it with the UV light, then I'll give it a good sanding, and then we'll go back and give it another coat. And now I can run through the grits with some wet sanding paper. I'll start with 320. And remember, this has only been like 5 minutes. Now I've just applied the second coat after sanding it down with some wet sandpaper. I went up to 500. And there should be plenty of material on there to be able to sand it down to a glass smooth finish. Well, it's already glass smooth, but to get little dimples out if there's any imperfections in there. So that's the second coat. And it's still wet. I'll give it a shot of UV. And like I said, in 2 minutes it's ready to sand and it's ready to do whatever you want to do with it. So now I've wet sanded it and put some polishing compound on it. And it's coming out pretty good. Silky smooth. That's 2 coats. 2 coats, and it took me, what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops to put it on there. So this is more or less, this was for the same tree that I cut down and turned. And this one has the boiled linseed oil finish. And it's not bad, it's smooth, it's nice. You can't complain too much about that. But I don't think there's any comparison. Well, there is a comparison, obviously. But in the smoothness and the shine and the deep, rich color, to me the epoxy finish just beats this one all to hell. I mean, the ball's nice, but there's the difference.